Yo, Sunday night. Oh, it's Sunday night. Oh, sort out that autofocus. I'll press that. I'll press that. Press that. Press that. We good? Hi, everyone. Who have we got in the chat? We are live. Okay. If you could stick it on Twitter and Facebook. Oh, spread the message. Hagbard Celine. I don't know if you know him. Interesting bloke. I don't know him. And my volume's good. Wanker's a good start from Ian Fleming. Straight in. Wanker. Hello, Davey. Life is good. It is real life. Joe. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Joseph. Alex is your resident moderator. If I've done this correctly, Hagbard should be along any minute. Okay, this is all looking good. Volume's good. Looks and sounds lovely, loud and clear. Sweet. Oh, that's probably not good. So, yeah, you did it. No worries. I knew you were joking. You're known around these parts, mate. You're a local. It's no problem. You can come at me with all cunt guns blazing, and I don't mind. It's kind of a weird one. It's a real class thing, actually. That I'll start early before the guest is here. But when I'm with people I grew up with, when I'm with working class people, it's just abuse. From the minute they walk in, even if you haven't seen them for years, they walk in, you'll be like, oh, nice jumper. Straight on a nice one, Alex. Yeah, of course, Alex has come in with the super chat. And as if you don't already know, this is a Patong fundraiser. And all money... Oh, Hagbard is here. Interrupting me in my flow with his avatar. Are you there, sir? No. Can't hear you, mate. Can anyone else hear Hagbard? Hagbard, speak. Your picture's there, man, but you're not. I don't think your microphone's working. I'm just going to carry on gibbering until I can hear you. Yeah, no one can hear you, Hagbard. It's not just me. When I'm with a group of working class people, it's just abuse. Like I say, someone walks in, you're like, nice jumper. You haven't seen him for like 5 years. Bang, bang, bang. And the thing about it is, it's a way of saying to the other person, look, how are we friends? Do you trust that I like you? Do you trust that I respect you? Because if you go up to a stranger and go, nice jumper, you cunt, they're going to knock you out or they're going to ignore you. But a friend will take that on board. Now, your middle classes doesn't work. I end up with these people quite a lot.
There we
Here we go.
go.
Whoa.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Hagbard.
Boy, how are you?
Very, very well. I'm super excited. Did I just hear a can open, a tinny?
Yeah, it's not as exciting as it sounds. It's sparkling water.
See, that's the difference between me and you. I'd have lied. I'd have said it was a can of carbonated crack water.
Oh, yeah, man. You know, they're selling that cheap at Walmart now. You just have to know who to ask.
Straight away, one of my people has gone, bang, Hagbard, we need more vids.
Yes, I know. I promise I'll start producing more and more as I can. It's just, it's been interesting. So
you've had I know that you've had a busy time. For the people watching, we've already got 58 in. It's late here on a Sunday. I imagine about half of them are Yanks. But this is really nice. I don't know Hagbard. It turned out that I watched and enjoyed his videos and he watched and enjoyed mine. So we thought we'd do this.
Yeah, just kind of a random, hey, we should chit chat kind of thing.
It's absolutely wonderful. Now, do you realise that I'm pimping you out because this is actually my second Patong fundraiser?
Yeah, I actually like jumping on people's fundraising streams and hoping they get money. I don't know how much I help, considering I don't have a whole lot of people throwing money at me. But hey, maybe they're more generous with strangers. You never know.
Well, the first one I done, my moderator gave me $2. That was the unofficial first fundraiser. The second one, it was in the hundreds. As soon as I said to them, I will be spending the money on Thai prostitutes, bang, they just came in.
That's just living vicariously through an adventurous man. I mean, that's understandable. We pay to do that all the time. There
you go. And I'm going to make that clear for the listeners. A great point by Hagbard there. Listen, I promise you, as you know, I leave for Thailand on the 14th of December, and any money I manage to squeeze out of you bastards will be spent on whores. So if you're stuck in a passionless swamp of a monogamous relationship that's sexless and largely draining you of life, throw the money. I will video, my penis at work and at leisure, and credit that to you. Sorry, Hagbard.
Yeah, you'll get a production credit. You'll be one of the producers. We'll call you co-producer.
There you go. Yeah, I knew this would work well. So I haven't spoken ever to Hagbard at all. We've had a couple of little exchanges on Twitter. So I'm going in dry.
As usual.
I don't know what the limits are, so I don't know if I ask you. Well, I
don't. The only limit is essentially my last name and my address. Everything else, everyone knows.
You're an oversharer, such as myself.
Yeah, I do tend to overshare.
I'll tell you what I really liked. I want to show people a clip of yours, if I can work this out. Now, I know what it's like when people show you clips. Hagbard will be like, "Oh, that's really old. I don't do stuff like that anymore," or something like that. I'm predicting. But let me see if I can sort this out. I'm going to show you a little clip. I hope the audio works. Okay, this is from a video Hagbard made on the 10th of November. We're rolling. Learn how to do this. Here we go.
Yes. Oh, I should do more like that. Poor Justin.
It's amazing. I'll leave a link to that precise video in the comments. Do go and check out Hagbard's channel if you haven't. It's really good. He's got a great voice. It's engaging. It's warm. You sort of immediately trust it, which I suggest you don't trust, and so you're caught in that contradiction immediately.
Yeah, it's actually on my profile, never to trust someone with the initials HC. So understand, I'm very upfront about not being super trustworthy. I think everyone should acknowledge the fact that they probably are operating from a flawed perspective, even if they don't think they are. As long as you acknowledge that something about your perspective is probably wrong, then you're more right than most people. That's all I ask from anyone.
I knew this was going to work, Hagbard. It's going to be Hag unless you can suggest anything.
That's fine.
You're good at Hag.
That's fine. Yeah.
So for a Londoner who's never been to America, they won't let me in, not the North. Where does a voice like yours come from? Because it's not just the accent.
Ironically, I was born and raised in Florida, but the voice, if you will, is kind of my grandfather. And they were from Virginia, but he was an ambassador for a while after he was repeatedly a jump shipper from the Navy. So he kind of had an up and down life. But he kind of he worked in Saudi Arabia and India, so he kind of had an international accent. And then my father was raised in India. So I don't know what my accent is. I sure don't have the Southern accent so many people think I do.
No, I can't place it at all. I don't think I would be able to. But so your prison story is beautiful.
Yeah, I wanted to try and sit down and do one end to the other, but to be honest, from the moment they shaved my head to the moment I was told to roll up my shit and go home is just blurry. It's really not placeable in a linear time frame. Strangely, many of my drug stories I can place a linear time on, at least give you a solid narrative of X, Y, Z happened. My prison stories, I don't know. It got so Groundhog's Day in there. I mean, after you're assigned a job and you're doing the same thing over and over and over 5-7 days a week, and it's more regimented than even like a normal job. I mean, the only thing close to it is imagine if you lived at the Amazon warehouse and then also worked at the Amazon warehouse. That's what working. It just gets so blurred after a while. You're up at 6 o'clock to go to work, and then there's a bunch of motherfuckers there that don't work. So then they're up playing cards and shit until 3 o'clock in the morning, make all kinds of noise.
Wow,
it's an interesting experience.
I mean, I've managed to avoid it. I was selling for less time than I was using, but a good sort of decade and a half, and only luck, I wasn't very good at it. There was countless other problems, but jail wasn't one of them. Plenty of arrests. You don't say why you went away. Would you like to?
I have once, but I get such back and forth viewership that most people are still, even till every time I mention it, are like, "Why'd you go to prison?" I went to prison for growing weed in the wrong state. By wrong state, I mean the state of Florida, whereas now I live in Oregon and I can grow 4 plants and no one's going to call the cops on me. So, I could probably grow way more than that. No one's going to call the cops on me, but the state law says 4. So,
what was it? 4 plants, or was it a big deal, sort of hydroponic?
It was no shit, 6 plants in a closet, and they were already dead. They had died on a previous jail sentence while I was put away for like 30 days. No one was maintaining them. So they were already just brown stalks sitting in a closet I hadn't broken down because I'd just gotten out of jail.
Absolutely.
And then I went out and I saw Dropkick Murphys. No, Flogging Molly with a girlfriend of mine. And we came home, woke up the next morning, got into a fight. She called the cops on me and then told them I had weed, and here I am.
It was absolutely hideous. I mean, I've done plenty of that myself. I was living in a house that I was sharing with 5 other students, and I converted the basement into quite well. You obviously know the game. It was quite advanced at the time. I mean, this is going back to about '96, and we had carbon dioxide generators.
Oh yeah.
We had ionizers for trying to get rid of the smell, but then that negatively affected the smell of the weed. We had conductivity meters to measure the amount of nutrients in the water. Each plant was individually drip fed, mylar walls. It was like something out of, I'll tell you what was amazing about it. I mean, this was in north of England, a place called Leeds. I don't advise it. And
no,
the weather in the winter is blistering, hideous, just sort of horizontal ice rain for most of the time. And our little grow room, of course, has got, what did we have? We had a couple of like 1,000-watt HID lamps on a sun circle. And the climate in there was obviously nearly tropical. So we'd get a couple of deck chairs, we'd sit in there like it was at the beach. It was lovely.
Oh yeah, the first guys I met when I moved here had done something similar in their basement, and it was like a 12-plant grow with big. They weren't using. They were using high-pressure sodiums, which, as you know, get hot as fuck.
From the vaguely what I can remember, for various reasons, it's a little bit foggy, but I think we switched over to the sodium for flowering. Would that be right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and they used fluorescence for the growth cycle. So it was pretty relatively cool down there during that. They actually had to put space oil heaters down there to keep it warm during the growth cycle. But during fluorescence, you were putting fans at the basement door and using the basement to heat your house.
We had exactly the same problem. This was in the next place we went to. I mean, someone in the chat has said it was the basement of his last house. Are you referring to me? Did I live with you, or is this a conversation I've missed? But in the next house, it was my own little deal, and it was in an attic room. And come February, when it snowed, of course, my roof had a little clear patch on it. It was just, it might as well have said, "We're growing weed here."
Yeah, my favorite was I used to watch a lot of the cop shows, and I remember the grows in Alaska people get busted for because their ventilation grows icicles in a horizontal manner because of how densely moist the air is getting shot out of the ventilation. It just forms icicle tubes around their ventilation. And the cops just go around and look at ventilation tubes. Yep, he's growing, knock the door in. It's not even a question. That's enough evidence. You can stand behind the house and get hit in the face with a smell of weed by that point, obviously. You're standing right by the ventilation shaft. You're just going, oh, yep, that's a grow room. Not even a question. Yeah, we're good.
The whole process, I mean, I used to call it the lazy trade. I wrote a novel about my experience as well. It was based on the timeline of a grow, like a 7-week cycle when I was 24. And what's crazy about the whole thing, and I missed this at the time, but it's fucking complicated actually to get it right. I know people say it's simple, but you want to produce. It's a lot.
Okay, try it.
Exactly.
And make a profit.
Yeah, there you go. The amount of people I've seen spending all this money and plant all their seeds, and they've already done the maths. And I'm like, mate, I've looked at your room. You're going to get 2 ounces max. And they're like, no, that's a 20-kilo room, 20-ounce room.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
I've got 2 pounds in there, dude. You don't, dude. You don't. I'm telling you, man. You're not going to be able to pay your power bill, man. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, yeah. And I learned that on my first grow, of course. I'd already worked out I was going to pay everyone off and a few debts and move into a nice place. And of course, as that, you know, even the day of harvesting, there was tons because, you know, it was what, 90% water. And there was these big piles, and we were weighing them and trying to estimate where we're going to lose a bit of water, and that. And day after day, my future just shrunk. And I think after that first grow, we sold nothing.
Oh yeah, you're just like, well, we just grew a bunch of pot to smoke.
yeah, at 5 times the price of buying it. 5 times the price, so infinite times legal risk, and generally a lot of hassle. However, it did lead to the knowledge and the experience, which led to the next grow, then the next one.
Yeah.
And I think by the 4th one, oh man, oh yes.
As the joke is, no matter what trade you go into, everyone has to pay tuition. And that's what you did. You paid your tuition, all right? You had to learn somehow.
There you go. But alongside that, the fact that it's very complicated, of course, more often than not, you're fucking stoned. I mean, these days, anyone can get access to hydroponic equipment. But in those days, you kind of sort of had to be a stoner to even think about it.
Know someone. Yeah, to really even know someone who would know where to buy the equipment or how to set it up and rig it with fish pumps or whatever you do.
Exactly. And so it's fucking messy. I mean, you know, you fuck it up and you go in there one morning, you program the timer on the pump wrong, so they're all just hanging. All the leaves are down. They haven't had any water for like 18 hours under those lights.
Yeah, or even better, I was using a flood and draft system.
You'll have to explain that.
Sometimes it's okay. So you were using drip. We were using a system where you would set all the individual plants in a basin and flood that whole basin for 5 minutes every like 6 hours, and the plants would just soak up and then soak the nutrients up and then dry out, so you wouldn't get root rot.
Is it also is that also known as maybe nutrient film technique, or is that, have I got it wrong?
I've actually never heard of that one.
Okay, yeah, it sounds similar. Carry on, sorry.
It could be known as that, but I've never heard it called that because I learned from rednecks. So they just called it a flood and draft system. Okay, that's what we're going to call it. But
it's in some kind of rock wall or permalite or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, the first time I ever tried it, the first night I set the timer, I didn't realize I had to set it once to fill and then once to refire to empty on 2 separate things right next to each other. So it filled and then it was emptying as I walked in that morning. So it had sat there in just a basin of water. So the chances of root rot had just gone through the roof. The chance of me losing all these plants. Yeah,
with all that heat as well. I'm going to interrupt you because someone's thrown money at them and you're devilishly interesting, but you'll never be money, Hagbard.
I understand, trust me.
Tim Tarbox, he enjoys my contact and enjoys my vacation. For $5, Tim Tarbox, you're going to be able to watch me lick a teenager's forehead. All right, I'm going to do that for you.
That's good money.
Yeah, no, he's changed it. It wasn't enjoy your contact. He's changed it underneath to content. That's an excellent one. I think that was Freud writing for you, Mr. Tarbox. Right. So, Hagbard, you went to prison for killing some hash plants.
Yeah,
but it sounds to me like
I actually got mocked by a prison guard on entry he told everyone what it was, and they laughed because no one else is there for weed. No one goes to prison. They were like, you were shipping it, right? No. So you had like 100 plants? No. Oh, so you just got fucked? Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear.
Yeah. They called me Scooby-Doo the whole time. That was fun. The guards all called me Scrappy. Yeah, that was fun.
When I look back at all those days with me, I think the nearest I came to doing any serious time was a drive. I was selling down in the southwest of England, about 120 miles away from London. It was a bit of a drive, but I was picking up like half kilos and kilos of Peruvian flake cocaine in London, washing it up.
Hey, Gordon Ramses is mad at you.
Pardon?
Gordon Ramses is mad at you, man. You're part of the cocaine epidemic that he just did a documentary series about, man. You got the Gordy Ram mad.
Well, I tell you what, it was amazing because the little village in Devon, you know, it's known for having little villages. All the pubs were empty after about 2 weeks because all the sort of middle-aged drinkers had moved on to crack cocaine.
Yep, not uncommon.
Yeah, it was. I never sort of thought. I didn't go down there to do that trade, by the way. I went down there to get off of heroin and weirdly failed to. And then it was a question of needing some money. So I thought, well, I'll sprinkle some snow on this place and see how that goes.
There's a local industry here. I don't know why I need to break new ground. I can just get into the local industry.
There you go. There you go. And I was, you know, I gave out tasters, and they came around 10 minutes later, strung out as hell. And I said, it's all right. I can sort that out for you for 20 quid. You'll be all right. Fine.
Oh,
but it was weird.
Okay. If you'll do me a favor, feel free to tap dance. I've got to go take numbers down on this machine.
In the end, though, I was literally taken up an alley. A police car pulled up, pulled me into it, drove me up an alley and said, okay, listen, fuck off back to London or we're going to make your life more hell than we already have. And I looked at them and I went, yeah, that's fair enough, and then left. You know, they knew exactly what was going on. But anyway, the story is I was doing a drive from London. I wasn't driving. I was in a passenger seat. London back to Devon. And I had, I think, I can't remember, 18, 19 ounces of crack individually wrapped. Not even stashed. You know, a few under the, you know, that bit above the glove compartment if you put your hands under. A few here, bits and just chucked all around the place. Just out of eyesight, really. And the driver, we had a clear tube, like just a clear plastic tube onto a pipe, so he could have the tube in his mouth and I could light the pipe sort of down in between my knees. Do you know what I mean? So as he was driving, he could smoke crack, which is absurd now. But we got pulled over. They saw loads of Rizzlers and things on the dashboard, and they pulled us over. And I was thinking, shit, this is really it. I mean, I had a few bags of smack in my back pocket, heroin. I don't know if you have that slang out there. But the driver did as well. We weren't injecting. We had foils, and they were under those little rubber things, the foot things. Ah,
so you were still chasing.
Yes, and they were under the little rubber mats. And we've got out of the car, and I'm looking at my mate. He's nearly crying. I mean, I was only like, what, 30, and he was 25, and it was, yeah, that's quite a lot, really. And they've searched us, and I've got 15 grand on me in cash, in used tenors and fivers. And I'm thinking, well, that's the start of the end, really. And the coppers separated the two of us. So one's with him and one's with me. And they separated us by about 20 meters. And he literally just tapped me like a mate would on the arm. And he went, look, just pretend I'm searching you. I don't give a shit about drugs. Because he was thinking it was like weed because of the Rizzlers and that. And as soon as he said that, I had a glimmer of hope. I just thought, hang on, well, that was unlikely and it's happened. And then they got us back together, and he said, no, before he got us back together, he said, are there any drugs in the car? Because if there are, I'll get them out and I'll ditch them because I don't want the fucking paperwork. Now, I was never going to say to him, yeah, funnily enough, there's a few bags of smack under the foot things and there's 18 ounces of crack distributed around the vehicle. But there was a little bit of hash in the, like solid hash in the ashtray. And I thought, well, this one, nice one for the £5 nirab. I will let a big fat old woman sit on my lap for £5 English. Thank you very much. Anyway,
10 gets you a face. 10 gets you a face, ladies and gentlemen. $10 gets you an old lady sitting on the face.
That's why I got him in here. You had the balls to say what I couldn't, but really wanted to. So anyway, they've got us back. I thought this is a weird blag because the minute I say to him, right, yeah, there's a bit of hash in the ashtray, he's going to walk into the car, get it out, and go, you're in trouble. But I thought I'll risk it because I'm fucked anyway. I said, there's a lump.
This is a damned if you do moment, right?
There you go. And I said to him, there's a lump of ash in the ashtray. Got back to the car. By the time we got there, though, the other cop was already in the motor, and I'm thinking, oh bollocks. He's got a pen in the ashtray, and I can see him knocking this lump of hash amongst the cigarettes and, you know, all the ash, and it's just pinging about. Yeah. And I almost feel so sorry for him. I want to tap him on the shoulder and go, Mate, it's just there, right on the end of your pen. Thank you, Tim, for $10. Yep, I'm going to get a fat old woman sitting on my face. Thanks, Hagbard, you bastard. That money came in fast after you ruined my holiday. Anyway, but I didn't say that. And then, and this is why I'm still here talking to you today, and my anus hasn't been unnecessarily battered. It was the old. He got out of the car. He took the other copper away. They come back and they went, right, we've got to go and do another job. He said, but we don't tolerate drugs in this county, and if we catch you again, you're in trouble. He went, I think one of you's concealing drugs, and I think it's you. And he just pointed at me. And what he meant to say to that, I just sort of looked at him thinking, this is unbelievably good luck. And they got in the car and drove off.
Oh, I've got a good one about something similar, but I actually did get arrested and bailed out.
That's the twist in the tale, is it?
No, the twist is even better because I walked away with nothing when I really should have done time for that one.
Come on, go
well, this one's a case of public record, so if I'm ever doxxed, it's already on the courts. So, all right. So I got pulled over at like 2 o'clock in the morning because I was delivering to a friend of mine a gram of cocaine. Who worked at the mall. And then she's like, I don't have a car. I can wait for my boyfriend, or we can just go back to my house and we'll hang out. All right, well, then let's just fucking go. Hopped in the car and took off. My buddy is a terrible fucking driver who I never should ever have fucking trusted behind the wheel of a car ever. And repeatedly did.
It's always those that you do trust as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and by the way, this is a man who spun a car out on a major highway, just driving straight, just all of a sudden lost control of the car and we were sideways.
Ouch.
So he's a terrible, terrible driver. Well, we're in a busy kind of downtown-y region, and he makes a right-hand turn and squeaks the wheels of his 1988 Supra, okay? Right in front of a cop. I'm like, dude, seriously, right now, like it's 2 o'clock in the morning. What are we doing here? I don't want to go to jail today. And we get pulled out of the car, and everything gets searched out. And do they have any drugs in the car? Of course not. What am I, new? No, of course not. Maybe I'll get away. Okay, well, we found this in your door, and it's like a little box, and it's got a couple grams of cocaine and a straw in it. I'm like, oh, good, excellent. That was even on my door. Neat. All right, well, and they found like 3 grams of weed in the back of the car with the girl we picked up, and she had her cocaine on her too. So now we're both going to jail.
Hang on. Sorry. The 3 grams of the straw in your side door, were you aware of that?
Very. That was mine.
Oh, okay.
Extremely. Okay. Yeah, that was mine for other use that day and for other deliveries, frankly. But the girl, she had hers already in 3 grams of marijuana, so she got arrested. I got arrested. My buddy didn't, which doesn't make sense because technically under Florida law at the time, if it's in your car, you count as an accomplice regardless.
Wow.
I've never walked. I'll tell you that. Anytime if we get stopped and someone else has drugs in the car, I go to jail too, because in theory,
I might have to stop the stream if that's a fact. Does that convert to the digital universe? Am I going to get a raid in a minute?
Yeah, no. Luckily, and in this town, no one cares. So, but even more interestingly, so we're like, is this yours? No, of course it's not mine. Well, I'm taking you anyway. All right, cool. Long story short, I get bailed out. I'm pretty sure because at the time there was like a 5-year mandatory minimum on possession of cocaine in Florida.
Wow.
So that was like, oh, good, I'm going away. Neat. So I'm just hanging out. I'm having my last blast before I show up to my court date. Where more than likely they're going to place handcuffs on me because they don't trust someone who's a criminal to not run away in front of 5 years because, well, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically everyone's like, bail law is wrong. No, bail law is to make sure you come the fuck back because trust me, a lot of people wouldn't. I assure you, many people, this big country we got over here, many people take the fuck off even now and just say, sorry, you lost your car, whoever put that up as compensation. That's just, that just happens. So I show back up and they're like, I'm standing in a line because that's how it works here while they check you into the court date. And they're like, okay, so what's your name? And I give them my name and they go, all right, go down the hall and take a right. I'm supposed to go in this room, dude. Like, I'm supposed to be in front of a judge in 30 minutes. I'm not going anywhere. Where am I supposed to be? No, you're not going in this room right now. Go down the road, go down this hallway and take a right. You'll talk to the people at the register there. I talked to them that the charges were just dismissed.
Wow. And
the reason was, and I shit you not, the cop used the wrong coke and never spelled cocaine correctly.
Hang on. Whoa. Hang on, I missed that. He used
the wrong coke like when you were, he shorthanded coke and capitalized it when he did so.
Oh.
And when he used the full term, he spelled cocaine in such a manner that it wasn't discernible to be the word cocaine. And when they tested the evidence again, the cut was so bad on the coke, it wouldn't test blue. He'd already tested enough of it that there was not enough left to test.
Amazing.
And they're like, you're being dismissed, but we do know that this was you. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a good boy. I am a good boy, and I'm going to go home now.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, man, that's
yeah, that was a story of a buddy of mine. I watched Fuck with a Cop. It's one of my favorites, and I have to get this one out. And
Go
it's
for
only fair to share it here. We're pulled over. He gets out. They do this random pat down, and they're going to walk away. They're like, all right, he didn't have anything. Let's just take their licenses back, and they're going to run our licenses. And he stage whispers over the top of the car,
Yo, I'm really glad they didn't check my shoe.
and the cops come back. Oh, what'd you say? What was that about your shoe? All right, then take your shoes off, son. Take your shoes off. Take your shoes off right now. And they shuffle him and take his...
Whoosh, that got him away from my underwear.
Like, he just, every time they turned around to walk away, he would just say, oh, but luckily they didn't check, until eventually the cops were like, you know, this is technically wasting police time. This could be called interfering with it. He goes, write it in a police report. I'll go to the court date. Write it in the police report. Write down that you came back 5 times after I baited you, please, because I'll go to the court date, dude. Yeah. I'll for sure talk to a judge about this.
I doubt you're aware how good the change in microphone technique really made that story brilliant. It was so good. Amazing. I am trying to think. I can't remember where I got nicked, but I got nicked somewhere. I had 20 rocks of crack on me. I jumped bail, but it was a police bail, not court bail. I don't know if you have all that in America.
No,
I don't know
the difference.
No, I don't. But I didn't go back anyway. I just, I was homeless, but not on the street, sofa hopping. There's not many junkies in England you can't get a night on the sofa for if you turn up with a rock and a bag of heroin. And, just doing all that. And I just ignored them. I ended up back in some kind of recovery, living at my mum's house in 150 miles away. Just completely forgot about it. And of course, one night they turn up and yes, it is me. Oh shit, blah, blah, blah. They took me off and they set a court date and they kept hold of me and they drove me down there a couple of days later. And my solicitor said, pack your bags, it's 20 rocks, 0.2 rocks, so a couple of, what's that, 4 grams of crack in rocks with previous. So it's going to be a holiday. I get down there and I'm in court and standing there. Average Joe, £20, incredible. Hagbard, you can have a think about what I'm going to do for that if you wish.
For £20?
Yeah, 20 English is about $33.
Well, hell, I think you have to give a hand job to a Thai ladyboy for that. I mean, that's only fair. Not again. That went not
really
sober,
bad.
Please, not sober. God,
yeah, no.
I have to remember it this time.
I will put a price on that, though. Well, you put a price on that.
It's an no. You to do is you have it as an unnamed price, so it just escalates, and then whoever gets the highest bid, they get the video. You see, that's
right, okay. I'm telling the chat now. I will feel myself. Oh, hang on, mate. It's all easy saying it now.
I know it's hard. It's easy to say. Just remember that this is real money.
Someone's I know, but I'm such a sucker for a story.
I know it is a story. I mean,
just sitting out there. I've done it. I've done it. But my moderator, Alex. I gave Alex moderation. What do you call it? I made him moderator once, and within 3 seconds he banned someone. I said, "Why'd you do that?" He went, "He said cunt." Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I'm in court. Average Joe, thanks for that, mate. Though that's £20, and that is I really thanks. It's fucking great. I'll be able to spend some money on holiday. Anyway, I'm in court and I'm looking at my brief, and it's not looking good, and they're all arseholes, and I look like a junkie. I stink. It's coming off me. I'm starting to withdraw, and all that.
Yeah.
And, so they read out the charge. And it's possession of 0.2 grams of crack. Incredible. All the rest had disappeared, no doubt down some old Bill's throat. And so I got conditional discharge, which is unconditional. Basically, it's fuck off and don't get in trouble. If you don't get in trouble for a year, we'll let it go.
Yeah, basically that's similar to what they do here. Is it's just fuck off. Just you've been released on recognizance. I don't want to hear from you again. Consider this a warning.
It was amazing, but what was also super amazing was, of course, in my anal bank account, I had a 1/4 ounce of heroin and a little 1-inch cut down needle.
Nice.
Which is a cute little thing, actually. And just to take the piss, I had a bit in the court toilets.
Awesome.
I went in there and I went, thank you, Lord Almighty. But there, right, okay, enough drugs for now. I want to ask you. Without, I don't want to get too much into YouTubey stuff, but how did you end up here?
No shit. One night I was watching a bunch of different, just random kind of garbage videos on YouTube. And the one that I did as my first video just ran through my feed. And it was cultural appropriation about hair. And it was one of the dumbest things I'd ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
I was already down there. I just finished listening to some lecture series or another. I don't even remember what. And I had an editing software I'd been messing around with, and I downloaded a couple weeks ago and meant to get back into it. I actually took a couple classes in college for video editing, but I never really got into it, and college was interrupted by my trip upstate, as the case may be.
Oh no, sorry to interrupt. There's that lovely bit in your story when you knew the prosecutor, not the prosecutor, the judge.
Yes.
You had she'd obviously seen your sort of career as a petty criminal.
Yes.
And your words, and she was kind of disappointed because she thought you were sorting yourself out.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a good lady. I mean, I could be one of those people. It's like, goddamn judge, no. It wasn't like that. She tried. She really did.
It's strange.
I didn't. So.
There's a lot of people in that game sort of like that. Who, I mean, I had a pharmacist. And who I used to get my methadone and my Subutex and all that sort of stuff off. And I used to just get the Subutex because it's got a blocker in it. It will stop opiates working. So I used to just put it in my mouth. You're meant to put it under your tongue. It's sublingual. Let it sit there for 10 minutes. Then the chemist looks under your tongue in front of everyone. It's all a little bit embarrassing. But I used to stick it up, just stash it away. You can sell half-sucked Subutex on the street easy. And then go out, sell it on and buy some gear. And I made the mistake of telling my key worker, you have to see a key worker regularly to maintain your prescription. And I said to him, he said, your piss says you've been using loads of heroin. I said, well, yeah. He said, but do you want your Subutex upped? Do you need more? And I went, it's not a question of more. I said, I don't use it. I just stash it. I want to use the heroin. And so he told my pharmacist, and the next time I've gone in there, he got the pill out and he looked at me and he got out a pill crusher, like a grinder.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's put it in there and he's ground it up and he's given it to me in a little square bit of paper like a dealer might. And he went, there you go, pour that under your tongue. And I was like, shit.
Yep.
Anyway, it was kind of standard for English drug addicts to have this book, not so much in the internet age, but back in those days, called the BNF, the British National Formulary. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of people in the chat don't know the British National Formulary. And it's all your drugs, how much they cost, what they're for, contraindications, who makes them, what they look like.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful in that game. And I was just reading it one night as kind of standard reading material for a junkie whose horizon.
It sounds weird.
Yeah.
The American equivalent. So I have that book as well. Well, had back in the day.
What's the American one called?
I don't even remember. It was just a big book that had all these different prescription pills, pictures of both sides of the pill, the descriptions of what they were made out of.
The cover had loads of burns in it and a few bits ripped off.
Mostly resin, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I was flipping through it one day and I was just reading the introduction. There was a bit where it said, it is illegal for a dispenser of controlled substances to change their form.
Yes.
Now, of course, when I've next gone to get my Subutex, and this lad Andy, bless him, lovely bloke, who I'd been seeing on and off for 15 years, And yeah, look, a bloke in the chat, Average Joe, went, got one. The BNF is fascinating. The geezer above him said, laugh out loud, I robbed that book. I did too. I nicked mine from a treatment centre. Anyway, I think that bloke's one of yours, actually, Hagbard. We was cave beasts.
Sounds like it could be.
Yeah. So I've turned up to the pharmacy the next day, and now he's got out this little 8mm Subutex. He's got out the grinder, and I went, whoa, slow down a minute. He went, what? And I went, I got the BNF out. I didn't even need to open it. He went, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm trying to fucking help you.
Yeah.
And I was like, sometimes help isn't what we need. But bless him, about 5 years after that, when I was switched back onto methadone, I've gone in there once, and it's all very public, but everyone in my own town knew what I was up to. And there's 5 or 6 people in the queue, and I'm there, and there's people, it's a fucking dispensing chemist that sells tampons and aftershave, you know what they're like. And you had to fill your name in this bit of paper, put it through, and someone would shout through, and it'd be like, 50ml methadone, Dangerfield. And I'd be like, shit, trying to keep my head down in case any of my mum's mates are in there. He came out, they put the methadone in little brown medicine bottles. You know, the ones you get your pills in?
Yeah.
And he put a cocktail stick with an olive on it and an umbrella. And he went, sick. Something for the weekend, Mr. Dangerfield.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's
a sense of humor.
Yeah, you get a bit familiar with these people. And, he'd been giving that stuff to me for decades. Sorry, I interrupted anyway. You were on one.
Recall what I was talking about.
That's asking a lot, isn't it, after all that chat? Well, I should have continued that one.
No, it's fine.
I had much the same thing. Go on.
I'll tell you, the experiences I've had in all these different situations, and then even before I was personally involved, I had friends involved, and I was in and out of meeting all these people, is one of the reasons why I'm not into the whole persecution complex of the system is trying to destroy these people. It's really not. It's really well and truly not. Many of these people are fatalist, which is something that no one wants to address.
Yeah.
One of the major problems with the U.S. justice system is the fact that some of the people it arrests already is just like, yeah, I'm going to prison, I don't care, fuck you. Have that attitude. Where else do you think you're gonna go? At the judge when she's like, look, so do you want to do this and work with us and we'll try it? Nah, fuck you, send me up road. It's fine. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I mean, not only that, he just committed a crime right there by saying fuck you to a judge. You can't do that. The law in itself. So what he's done is proved he doesn't want to change. This is what he wants. Identity.
Strange, isn't it? Strange.
Well, that's what I've tried to tell people. You have to recognize this has become part of their identity.
Yeah,
they're proud of it.
Yeah, without a doubt. In UK rehabs, they call it gutter pride.
Yeah,
and street pride. People who turn up in rehabs. I mean, I can understand it because for a lot of people, that's in that position, it's all you've got. And I say that because I've been there. When I was homeless, when I had a dog on a bit of string, and it was hand to mouth, hand to vein on a daily basis. When you turn up in rehab, you're not going to be talking about much else. And it's kind of weird after you've been there a couple of months and new people turn up and they're almost like these sort of, they're narcotic fixated robots.
Yes.
And there's I don't know if you get this in America, but in England, there's this crazy hierarchy which kind of goes alongside the legal situation with categorization of drugs. If you're in there for speed or something, which is a BCAT in England, you're not quite as much of an addict as the heroin addicts, and the cocaine addicts, they're not. The heroin is kind of like top of that weird pyramid, and it's fucking negative because I know I've lost count of the amount of people who have gone to rehab and or Narcotics Anonymous with a cocaine problem, a benzodiazepine problem, even hash problems. Fair enough. I've seen that ruin lives. If it's used addictively, it can just do the same damage. And they've gone out to relapse on heroin because they didn't feel part of, or they didn't feel like they were in the gutter so much.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's a big part of the drugs community that I appreciate at least some of the people I met and grew up with being the opposite of.
I'm with that. I'm not proud or I don't appreciate it either. I think it's absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
irresponsible.
Yeah, egging someone on to escalate to needle use is kind of bizarre. It really is. It's a bizarre human behavior, and I think it does come from the realization that you want to realize the truth, which is that anyone can do it. Anyone can get here. But why do you want to help someone get there? I mean, it does kind of make you realize, you kind of feel better for it, but at the same time, you feel worse. You have to.
No, without a doubt. But you know what? I was out the other weekend, and you see the same behaviour with social drinkers.
Yeah, absolutely. You see it with everything like that.
If I have I don't like drinking that much. I can have just a couple, but if I'm out and I start, I'll tend to. And so if I'm in a bar or a club or something, I'll either be out drinking or I'm not going to touch it. And just these normal people, you wouldn't define them as addicts. They don't have problems. They have very good jobs, nice families. Have a drink, Chris. Go on, mate. Have a drink. Have a drink. Have a drink. Have a drink. And there's that. I don't know. What is that? What is that? Why they? Is it to kind of normalize their behavior?
Yeah, and I mean everyone does it. It's not exclusive to anything. It's when something becomes socialized like that, and it has to do with anything. I mean, it's normal for the addicts community to use drugs.
Yeah.
Not big of a deal. Of course, to the normal community, they don't quite view it the same way. Where you can see someone who does this in a drinking situation and go, I recognize this behavior, and you're going to pretend like it's not that behavior.
Yeah.
Because drinking is fine. I can do it in a bar. It's like, well, if we lived in a Philip K. Dick future and I could have the bartender come over and give me some morphine, are we good? I mean, are you going to get off my ass? Because it feels kind of weird right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's always how I felt. It was like in this Philip K. Dickian future where everything's been relativized and they sell morphine from robot bartenders. I don't see why the tequila guy's better than me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I've seen it, the same shit. It's not like we don't know the story of alcohol ruining people's lives just as much as any other drug.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and also they can go so far down that road before anyone's noticed. Or before anyone is thinking there's a problem. With heroin, with crack, with a lot of drugs. It's for me now, if I know someone's taking heroin recreationally and they're enjoying it, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Whereas alcohol, I reckon you can do a decade. If you're in your early 20s, you can be drinking alcoholically and you're going to get a fair amount of way in before people are like, this is massively problematic for you.
Semi-functional into your mid-30s. No one's going to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's just it's an interesting dichotomy. It's also an interesting argument about prohibition of any drug and whether it's a positive or a negative.
Where do you stand on that?
Positives. Oh, I mean, I'm an anti-prohibitionist. I don't see the point. It's never done anything. I mean, I'll tell you, my joke was, let me explain something to anyone who has difficulty understanding why I'm anti-prohibition, despite the fact that I also acknowledge hard drugs are not your friend. I'll tell you right now, the most controlled environment on the planet that I've ever seen is a seg block on a prison. They know who comes in, what times, people get strip searched entering and leaving. People buy drugs on seg block.
There you go. Yeah.
You are never going to win. It's an impossible battle. So what we should try and do is minimize the harm that's done around it.
Yeah, it's a great point.
I don't think Anheuser-Busch has done anything to help that in America. I don't think anyone would be like, you know what we should do now that we've legalized, let's say we've legalized all narcotics, I'm going to see meth ads.
Yeah.
No, that's highly unlikely. They've already made liquor ads illegal. They're really already starting towards the realization that it's okay for it to be legal, but that doesn't mean there needs to be billion-dollar marketing campaigns about these things.
Yeah. No,
it's fine to find that middle ground.
That's a really good point. I mean, a lot of people in England don't realise that English prisons have a drug-free wing. You know, one wing, and that's what it's called. They don't say to everyone every other wing is riddled with drugs. And again, I've lost count of the amount of people I know who've gone to prison and come out heroin addicts.
Yep.
It's perfect for prison, isn't it? They call it baby
Christ. It's all over that place. Yeah. I mean, I was lucky because, frankly, I never moved to needles. I never escalated that far. I never actually used heroin. I was an OxyContin guy. But they were running pill mills.
I never used heroin. I just used pharmaceutical.
Exactly.
Heroin.
Great heroin. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's such a mad drug, OxyContin. You can shoot it, you can snort it, you can even chase it.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
I can't help but think they must have sat down and said, "Look, can we just not make some heroin somehow, but like in a nice shiny pill?" Because that's
like my joke about fentanyl.
Go on.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, they had to make the drug. I mean, there are cancer patients out there that are in a lot of pain. There are people that have chronic pain diseases that at some point the morphine ain't working. At some point, this shit is just like taking candy to them. And they created a super drug. But you have to also acknowledge that the same thing happened when someone made like methadone the first time. Yeah. Methadone was invented in Nazi Germany when they couldn't get opium. It was invented as a painkiller. It operates as an opiate. If you take methadone and you've never taken an opiate before, you will be sick to your fucking world.
I've seen it. They sell it to teenagers where I come from, and they're all out there.
Of course, yeah. You come off your methadone. Yeah, you come off your methadone to idiot teenagers for too much money, and then you go out and score good shit with their cash. Yeah, of course. Everyone knows that hustle. It's obvious, but they're so.
Sorry, do you know? I've heard that story. I haven't seen. I don't know anything about it, but I obviously know the story. Was Russia complicit in somehow stopping the supply of opiates to Nazi Germany? Was that what happened?
I honestly don't know too much about the details. I just know that they were having supply issues and troops use up a lot of opium. Yeah,
without doubt. I mean, there's an additional part to it, which is a myth, of course, but a lot of people say it was named after Hitler.
Oh God, yeah.
How they get that out of methadone, Adolfadone, I mean.
People will believe anything I've discovered. That's another thing I learned in prison. People will believe anything. People will pass around myths that don't make any sense whatsoever.
Oh,
and
you know what?
For you to question them is haram. You can be attacked physically for just. I'm just suggesting that perhaps the president isn't releasing everyone who ever got a drug charge. I'm saying maybe don't start packing your shit and selling stuff off. I'm trying to help you here, man. Like,
but again, it ties in with what you said earlier about people have built their identity around this stuff, and so you question that story. You're questioning the truth of their persona. I was out the other day chatting to a mate of mine. He's on the street and he's got a dog and he wanted me to look after his dog. And then a couple of the street people come along and they're like, "What are you doing with Dog Man's dog?" And I was like, "Mate, I'm just looking after it." And then I had to listen to them talking about methadone, and it was where this stuff comes from. One of them was going, "Yeah, well, you know, the sugarless one has got mercury in it, which although you get a buzz off." And I was just thinking, oh, come on, you can do better than that. You can do better than that. And another one I've heard a lot of the time, and people in the chat, I know there's a lot of junkies in there, but we got 111 in. Very kind of you people to make the effort to come and listen. Another one is, it's harder detoxing from a smoking heroin habit. And this is verbatim. I've heard this probably 20, 30 people. It's harder coming off a smoking habit than an injecting habit because you also have to detox from the foil. Are you there? Hello?
Sorry about that. I had to run those numbers again. Sorry about that. Repeat yourself.
That's all right. Sorry, I thought you'd been raided or something. I was cracking up then, and it got really awkward. I laughed into a void of nothing.
I'm very sorry. I have this machine goes off in my back left side here, and I hear it's off. I have to go.
I've heard about maybe 20, 30 people over the years say to me, or in a social group, that it's harder to give up a smoking heroin habit than it is an injecting one, because you've also got to detox the foil.
Oh wow,
that's absolutely brain crazy, isn't it?
Neat. Hey, anything to make your withdrawal the worst withdrawal in the world. Whatever works for you, man.
There you go. Exactly.
Whatever works for you, dude. I know that one of the reasons you're here is that you don't feel too great about yourself, so I'm sure this isn't playing into that at all.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Nail on the head. My God.
It's amazing to me. I mean, the people I've met have been all over. I mean, you'll see some guys. I mean, one of the first guys I ever met in this whole circle was a guy who worked 53 hours a week as a landscaper, and he was the fastest, strongest landscaper I've ever met in my life. I worked landscaping for like 5 years, but he was the tits. He was like, he could, like, if you've ever had have you ever held a hedger?
What is that?
Like a hedge cutter. It's no, a hedge clipper. It's made for clipping.
Hagbard, sorry to interrupt, but I'm not the best person to talk to about work related things.
Yeah, I would believe, but they're basically about 15-20 pound motors attached to a bunch of moving blades on the other end you use to shape hedges.
I know the one. Yeah.
That was his job, because no one else could do it. The foreman couldn't do it. You can't hold that fucker over your head to do the hedges for 8 hours in a day. No one can. It's not normal. Only to find out the reason he can do it is he's on about 450 milligrams of Oxycontin a day. Well, yeah, you're fucking Superman. You don't feel anything. You don't. I mean, I could shoot you and you'd be like, dude, why? That would be your reaction, dude. Come on, like that sucks, man. I gotta like go to work tomorrow. I'm like, well, I just shot you. No, dude, I'm fine. It's just that hurts. Like,
can I ask you how? I mean, I am a lot more vocal about this stuff. I've done a lot of videos about my drug use. I don't, make any excuses, and I don't hide anything. But it has negatively affected me in places when I didn't foresee it on the internet in like various sort of overlapping YouTube communities. I'll give you an example. I was asked to do a guest video for a channel called On the Offensive.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
Right, he's an English bloke. He's a nice enough bloke, and he's kind of like a race realist. You know, he's down with Jared Taylor and all that, which I find very interesting. That whole scene at the moment, what's happening there. And he said, I'm going on holiday for a few weeks. I'm getting together a few people to do guest videos, to film, and I'll take anything like that because I'm a sub whore, obviously. And I've done this video, and fuck me, did I get? Oh, they weren't happy. I was a degenerate,
You're a degen. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hadn't foreseen this. I grew up in a very working class, drug riddled environment. I've been to 20 rehabs. I now live in Soho in London. It's just drugs are everywhere, and. No, they judged me very badly. I was part of the massive problems of society. Not interested in what I've done to earn money and the successes I've had and the films I've worked on and the novels I've written and the stand-up comedy career I had for 10 years and that I've got clean in Thai brothels off of my own back. Do you know
what I tend to say to these guys? Because I've had a similar interaction with them. My answer was,
that's what I want.
Then what you should probably do is throw out almost everything you consider Western civilization. Just all that stuff you're fighting for. You're fighting for the luxuries of the people like that to create. Because if you want to, you can go into the history of some of the greatest minds of Western thought and find out that this guy did some cocaine. This guy was an opiate user. This guy was a drunk. It's just the reality of the situation. It's how creative brain chemistry works. We don't know why.
Well, just listening to you then when we talk about cocaine, I'm thinking of Freud. There was a very famous Canadian anaesthetist who kind of invented anesthetics, and he was a morphine addict, for 20 years of his working life. And then you've got all the art and all the literature and all the music. Yeah. Take that out of the equation.
I mean, it's like, so where do we start? What percentage of Greek philosophy gets through your protocol is my curiosity. What
amazing point.
Percentage of Dionysus are clear on your books? I'm curious because these were, degenerate wine orgy drunks. So I'm wondering what percentage of the Greek population stayed pure of these kind of things.
That's a great point. I mean, it shocked me though. I was on the Warskis, the two youngsters, Andy and Chris Warski, massive podcast, and they're really going for the branding, and they do a live stream almost every night, and they're looking at this as their sort of future. And as I was talking and telling like little bits and bobs, he was interrupting me, which is fair enough. It's his channel, and he's got his motivations, and I realised I was a guest. But he would be interrupting me to say to his audience, don't forget, kids, it's not a good idea to do this, or, you know. And I was thinking, this is, I've never come at this from this position.
Yeah,
You know,
distancing is always nice, isn't it?
Sorry, I missed the first word.
Distancing is always nice, isn't it? It's nice
Yeah.
to realize arm's length. It's a real comforting feeling.
Yeah, and it kept happening, and I've been in other live streams where I've said something, and, you know, I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just saying something regarding drug use, and of course the one that goes with that with me is prostitution, and oh, just the lead balloon, just no. did not even want to engage. For people who call themselves skeptics, it was almost like, oh, even if I disagree with that, I touched something I don't want to go near.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of that you'll find in communities of people that consider themselves open-minded. I had a problem when I moved here. In Florida, the types of people that congregate together under some sort of acknowledgement that no one there is a Judeo-Christian. No one in that group believes in the Judeo-Christian God. Hell, they weren't even all atheists, but they would call themselves an atheist group. That kind of thing. Yeah. These were not people. These were not your. This was a group of essentially the fucking misfit toys. I mean, this was an island of misfit toys kind of situation.
Right.
When I moved out here and I started looking into these groups, I was like, holy shit, I don't want to have to do with any of these people. I don't have any sort of way to relate to them. We've had entirely different life experiences.
Yeah.
In my mouth and explain some of mine. It's just like, yeah, I don't think we to deal with that. Like, yeah,
well, exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't. And that's the truth. That's how I view it. I don't think we're equipped to deal with that. Oh, that's unfortunate.
There you go. I mean, I'm not going to name names here because he continues to help me out. But one bloke's biog on Twitter is like something about cocaine and hookers and all that, and actually mention it, and it's a kind of a no-no. I was frequently, actively encouraged not to go down those routes.
Yeah, I've found that with a lot of people that part of their image is being edgy. Is that the reason it's part of their image is that they don't actually have any edge.
There you go, spot on.
They don't act. They've never done anything. You're a guy who's literally imitating things, and I don't even have anyone in mind when I'm saying this. So be clear on that. I have no one in mind. They literally are imitating people that they've seen on TV and in movies.
Oh yeah, no, you're so
right. They are being cool. And that's just what they see as cool. Whereas anyone who's ever been out on the streets would immediately see you and go, oh, look, food. Just showed up, guys. Who's hungry? We got some food. They think they know what's going on. That's the best thing. They're going to bluff. Check this out. They're going to bluff their way through, and this is for sure going to go well for them. That's how we view them. I mean, that's just how it is. As soon as an actual, someone who's actually been through the shit sees some guy come out there and a leather jacket and sunglasses trying to be Billy Badass, you know who you're dealing with. Immediately, you're like, oh, good, this guy, excellent.
Yeah. No.
Go a bag of twigs and seeds and fucking get $20 and have you brag to your friends, right? I know how this goes.
It's a perfect time to mention a bag of twigs and seeds, because when we were talking earlier about growing weed and all that, and I was thinking how much the product has changed. I mean, how old are you, roughly?
I'm 29.
Okay, so you probably don't remember quite what I remember, but in the 80s, you'd buy a bag of weed and it would look like oregano, 30%
yes.
seeds and stalks.
You could still buy that from the bad neighborhoods.
Right. And didn't it start getting called commercial or something? Commercial pressed or something?
Yeah.
They started calling
okay,
it.
Here's some fun facts. I grew up with terms that no one else on the planet used because I grew up in Florida, and little hood rats in Florida made up their own terminology. Cool.
We always do it. It's brilliant.
Oh, this was so bad. They called bad weed regs.
Regs.
Or Reggie. And you would, and this is widespread. I could walk to people I didn't know, so I know it wasn't like my little 8 people. No, this was widespread enough that when these 8 people all got locked up, I could walk up to someone and be like, yo, you got any regs? And they'd know what I was talking about. I got you. Or the other term that I've never heard used outside of this little bubble of Central Florida was a crippy. They call kind bud or a high quality marijuana that was grown in the country as opposed to brick pressed and shipped over on the back of a Mexican. They call that crippy. I've never again heard that in my life, and I grew up with it. You can people. Hey, you got any grip? Got any of that good stuff?
No.
Like, yeah, I got it.
And what's the root of that? Do you know?
No idea. Couldn't tell you. Gun to my head, I'd just be executed by the mob. No idea. Couldn't tell you.
There was 1 year around when I was selling a lot of cocaine when I called it brother.
Excellent.
I don't know why, but it wasn't long before my friends of mine were doing speed and they were calling it sister.
Good God.
Yeah, and I was at a party once, and word had got round that I was now a heroin addict, and a mate of mine I'd known for like 20 years, he shuffled up to me and he went, all like, fair, and rightly so, concerned, but he went, I hear you're doing the cousin now.
My God.
Yeah.
See, these communities are so weird.
It's beautiful, really. But
yeah, people who haven't been involved, I mean, they just can't understand. I mean, I used to know a guy, and I only found this out once, and after this scene played out, I never spoke to him again because I didn't realize how far down the rabbit hole he was. I just showed up to give him a ride somewhere and thus make like, what, 20 pills or some shit, so $200-300 worth of work. So I'm just gonna drive him there, and it's not a problem. But he's got to get his fix before he leaves because he's all fucked up. Oh, good, excellent, fantastic. I show up to a dope sick junkie's house. Everyone loves that. So I'm sitting in his living room, which is to be kind because he had a studio apartment that had a half dividing wall, so that they didn't have to call it a one room and they still call it a studio. So I'm sitting in his living room, and I hear this sound of him muttering and shit from this other room just over the wall, and I hear him instruct his girlfriend quite tersely, "Open the window." Opens the blinds to the window. And all right, close them. And then there'd be like a 2-minute pause. All right, open the blinds to the window again. All right, it's enough. Close them. Between shooting OxyContin and smoking crack, and to smoke crack, he has to be able to see if the cops are coming. But he can't have people look at him shooting dope. So he has to have the window closed to shoot dope. I'm never coming here again. I'm never coming here again. I don't even want this. That bad. I could walk out right now. I'm sitting there going, I could just walk out. I could just get the fucking keys in my hand and leave. I could do that still. There's no contract here. My experience of starting to use heroin and becoming an addict and getting on in that life was that daily. Situations where I'm looking around, not thinking I'm better than anyone, but just thinking this is not for me. I don't remember making the decisions necessary to end me up here and to qualify to be here. Truth of the matter is, I think it requires that thinking right there several times repeatedly to even consider getting out. And the percentage of people that never look around and go, how did I get here, is really high.
Yeah, sure. The first time I ever bought heroin, I won't tell the whole boring story, but when I got to the point of buying it on the street, I've gone up to the bloke and sort of said, hello, can you give me £20 worth of the heroin, please? And he spat it on the floor in the rain.
Excellent.
And I think most people would have known then that this wasn't a road to go down. I was on my hands and knees looking for this, like the size of a fucking headache tablet's worth of smack.
Yeah, some little teener.
Yeah, that came out of his mouth. And of course, he's shouting at me to put it in my mouth. Put it in your mouth. I've had street people get like 5 bags, like brown and white, out of their mouth. There's like and I'm sure, but I know there's people in the chat who've been junkies and they'll know this. And there's like washing lines of phlegm and spit between their mouth and their hand, and they're holding it up to your mouth. And if you don't put it in your mouth, you ain't getting it.
Jesus.
And you put it in your mouth and you're retching because you're thinking of the head and the fucking God knows what. And you know that it's been sitting in that rude boy dealer's warm mouth for a good 4 or 5 hours. Now it's gone into the homeless bloke's mouth, and now it's going into yours. And then when you get it home and you're unwrapping that mile long of cling film, it's squashing and it's squishing. 60-70% of the time the gear's wet.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Straight into your mate.
Yep, and guess I've never heard of someone hesitating. I had a buddy of mine that was joking. Yeah, I had a buddy of mine. He was a needle user, so I've heard I've been up and down the stories list, so I personally didn't have to experience it, but God, I know how it is. This guy was talking about like shooting with rainwater.
Oh, mate, my subs will know this from a story I told. I went into a train toilet, you know, the public toilet. I put my spoon out, I put my gear in it, put my citric in it, got my needle out, got no water. Taps ain't working. There's one more source of water in a public toilet. Yeah, I pulled it straight out of the.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's not even uncommon. Shit.
No, there you go.
At this point, I mean, I've like I said, my favorite one was his car broke down and he was stuck in the rain waiting for someone to come pick him up for like 3 hours, and he started to get sick, and he had no source of water in the entire car, but it was raining, so he literally leaned out and drew it from a puddle.
Yeah. Yeah, done it. So okay, so you're nearly 30.
Yeah.
What's the future? Where do you want to go? That's the best possible answer.
Oh my man. Right now I'm quite literally doing it just one day. You know what I mean? I mean my schedule's pretty tight as it is. That's why I keep missing streams with like Independent Man and a couple other people who asked me to come on, and I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then like something retarded happens, like I have a pipe burst in my house, and it's like, well, I can't. There's water damage and shit, people in and out now, so can't exactly do it. It's just one day at a time kind of shit, dude.
You've had some very difficult stuff going on with your brother. I know that. I'm not going to push you down that route, but that can't be fucking easy.
That's why I have to keep hopping off.
Yeah, no,
I've got a dialysis machine running. So
when because you just said that, I wouldn't have brought that up, but I don't know how that works. Are you donating blood?
No. I'm sitting here monitoring the machine as it exchanges dialysate fluid for toxins and pulls fluid out of the blood.
Wow.
Yeah, I just sit here, and if I'm basically sitting here running the automaton, and if it makes too much noise, I'm supposed to go over and make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Shit, man. Is that what I can hear, or is that something else?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Wow.
That's it. Yeah, sit in the same room. That's why the camera's not on. I don't want to just jam my brother's face into all this. That doesn't feel right.
No, that's understood.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would. I've gotten comfortable enough that I don't care anymore. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
How am I gonna hurt me worse than YouTube's hurt me? Really, at this point.
Did the adpocalypse give you any damage?
Yeah, quite a bit. Anything that had the ability to spread because of their already existent numbers. I have a couple videos with 70, 100,000 views.
Wow.
Those are now ad blocked. I'm surprised one of them hasn't been sandboxed, frankly.
Did you ask for a review?
Yeah, I did a review for a couple of them, and it was just, no, this was found to be against the terms of service. It's not even said how.
What's done me with that is, I mean, a good video of mine, well, not a good video, but a good viewing is about 9,000-10,000 views. But I've got a lot of them, and I was, not earning a living at all, but it was creeping up. But what was amazing was I was being recommended. My subs were going up sort of 60, 70 a day, and I was very happy about that. After the apocalypse, 2, 3 a day, because they're not listing these videos. Why would they?
Oh, mine's been in a steady free fall for a while now.
Whoa, what's that?
My laptop breaking in the background.
Okay, right, we've been going an hour and a quarter. Let's go over to the chat, see if anyone has got any questions. Yeah, I know. That's what I just thought. I usually only do an hour because I get very, very tired, but amazing. Chat, you got a few minutes. Anything you would like to ask Mr. Hagbard Celine, or anything you would like to ask me, now is your chance. Oh, first question.
I have something while there's a little lag. How offended were you by the portrayal of people who use in the movie Trainspotting from a 1 to a 10?
You know what? It's
from
weird.
A 1 to a 10.
Well, right. Can I come to that particular way of answering it after a little bit of spiel?
Certainly.
I like watching the movie. it's an entertaining movie. They're nice characters. It's fun. It's well shot, etc. But as far as a film about heroin goes, it's what the fuck is going on? This is like a cartoon about drug addiction. I didn't recognize it as addiction.
Yeah.
It just
Okay, so that's similar to how I felt. And have you ever seen Requiem for a Dream?
Yes, I have seen that.
Yeah. I at least appreciate that they made addiction the monster in that movie instead of the punchline.
No, there you go, and the spot on. I mean, there's problems with Requiem for a Dream, but what's his name? Wrote Last Exit to Brooklyn.
He lived it, man.
He wrote Requiem for a Dream, right?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah, and you know,
but it's him.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name to save my life, but it's him.
No, I can't at all. I'm sure it will come in a moment, though. No, and the Requiem for a Dream, very well handled. It's hideous. You end up in prison. Your missus is getting fucked and you lose your arm. It's a little bit more like if you take your best orgasm and times it by 1,000. What? Where are you getting this stuff from? Rob Ballman in the chat just nailed Run Drugstore Cowboy. Kind of got the balance right.
Drugstore Cowboy's just fun.
Yeah.
Or Permanent Midnight. That's another one that gets the up and down real good.
I read Permanent Midnight. Is that Jerry Stahl?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's done really, really well on the big screen.
Yeah, they're all coming at us now as well. Basketball Diaries, actually, yeah, fair enough. Oh, brilliant call. Dewey Merkfer has just said, do I know the children from Station Zoo? It's Der Kinder from Bahnhof Zoo, otherwise known as Christiana F. Fucking brilliant. Have you seen that, Hagbard?
I'm already writing it down.
Oh, mate, it's a film based on the true story of a woman called Christiana Fellan something in Germany. And they were known as the kids of Bahnhof Zoo. Bahnhof is something like that, Bernhof or something. It's a major train station in Germany where in the, I think, late 70s, early 80s, children, 13, 14-year-olds, were down there prostituting themselves to pay for their heroin addictions.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It's a weird film. It's not particularly well made, but yeah, you can watch it, and it's heartbreaking. They got something right, something consistently right. Christiana F, and it's subtitled "The Kinder from Bahnhof Zoo" or something. Yeah, good call. Okay, go on.
I have the IMDb up right now.
There you go. Right, let's see if anyone does have any questions or anything you want to say we could deal with. You can throw some money at my fucking whoring exploits if you want. We've been rabbiting along here for an hour and 20 minutes. Anything in the chat? Go.
Quick. No.
They will, don't worry. I've learned that they'll be scratching their head and trying to work something out. Those that are still awake. I actually rolled a leisure cigarette for the end of this stream, and it's been actually so engaging that I haven't needed to at all. A real pleasure talking to you, Hagbard. I hope the chat feels the same. Oh, for 108 people, you've gone fucking quiet. You haven't stopped talking for the last 20 minutes.
All of a sudden, all eyes were on them, and they got quiet.
No, really, exactly that. Exactly that. There you go. Okay. When's the next torture stream? I don't know what that means.
How are you defining that? Hopefully when Tariq releases his new movie. That's my next time I'm activating one of my dead old burner channels is to stream 1804, the true story behind the Haitian Revolution. All I know is the trailer features a jungle boy dancing with a head in his hand, so it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait for Tariq Nasheed's Haitian revenge flicks.
There you go. That's a good answer. Who else have we got? See, they are all coming now. What's for
Who are
sale?
my favorite YouTubers?
Average Joe wants to know what for sale. What you mean in terms of my whoring holiday? What should I do? What should I do? I will pretend to start crying when someone's wanking me off.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I will pretend it's brought up some really dark trauma and become fetal in a massage situation, naked.
Sick.
Yeah, if someone throws some money, I will definitely do that. Some of those.
See, now that's worth it. That's creative.
Yeah, I think so. It's a little bit, it's a bit well creative. You hit the nail on the head. Hit that like button, hit the like button like it was a feminist bitch. Nice one. Sunday fun day every Sunday. Can't say for sure, Banonymous, but you know, if I've got time, Sundays is one of those kind of days, isn't it?
I think Bobby was asking who favorite YouTubers were. I'll say one of my favorites is called Jazz Townsend and Sons. Their living history. They recreate Jazz Townsend and Son. They recreate like colonial America, and it's quite fun.
There you go. Living histories. My favorite YouTubers. It's kind of obvious, really. I'm still really into Devon. I really like Devon Tracy. His last video, if you haven't seen his last video, I really advise you watch it. Even if you've already made your mind up about atheism is unstoppable, watch his. It's the video about how should white people be about their race. It's called something like that.
I do wonder if Devon still has that picture he took of me.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, Devon, I've met him a couple of times. When he comes to England, we catch up. And for one of the most hated men on the internet, he's amazingly kind. And
I will tell you right now, as someone that's met him, you can scream that till you're blue in the face, and they're just not going to understand it's a bit.
There you go. Well, you know
so
that.
Hard.
I mean, it was him. It was him that told me how to use OBS. It was him that got me my first 2,000 subs bump, and he continues to help me. The other day, he's offered me to mirror a video. He said, make a shorter video and he'll chuck it on his 75,000 subs channel. You know, he's a great bloke.
Yeah, he's a good fun guy. I mean, he showed me and my brother around Las Vegas like we were his friends, and he'd never met us before. So, what can I say?
Amazing. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Rob Ballman has asked me, how old were you when you saw your first prostitute? Well, the funny thing is, Rob, there was a brothel on my street, and when I was about 9 years old, we used to look through the back window. So to literally interpret your question, I was about 8. When did I first pay for sex? I think I was about maybe 19. And I've never looked back. Never looked back anymore. Thomas wants more of our great chemistry. He means it figuratively, I think.
Sir, that's what I was doing. I was turning off the solar panel. Exactly that.
Honestly, you've got some incredible sound effects going on in the back there. Hayden Capel says, tell your stories about the moment you realised your life as a drug addict was fucked and needed to change for good. Oh, wow. When I think as Hadbard said earlier, it's something you realise, and you need to realise it again and again. It's cumulative. You know, I knew like 6 months into my heroin addiction that I was suffering negative consequences that were only going to get bigger, and I carried on for 15 years. You know, and it's. I don't like quoting NA literature, but addiction, although I don't believe in it really, it is kind of cunning and baffling. And you know, one of the things I've always said, most people would put up with what a junkie puts up with for 20 years. Most people with a bit of self-esteem wouldn't put up with it for an hour.
Yeah.
You know, when you go around a dealer's house and you've ordered 5 bags, he gives you 1, and you're like, I ordered 5, and he's squatting over a saucepan to shit the other 4 out, going, it's all right, I've got them. You know, this isn't something you should be doing with your life. Sorry, Liz Young. We missed Liz's question, and I know Liz, so let's go there. Liz Young, how's you bitch, Liz? How's my novel coming along? You know what? Well, you know, Will Self sorted me out as editor. I'm meant to be cutting it down. I've got 110,000 words, and I'm meant to be getting it down to about 85,000. And every time I sit down to edit it, I put 5 or 6 hours in. I come away and it's bigger, which isn't helping. When I'm in Thailand, I hope to get that ready for the next draft to give to the editor. So when I get back from Thailand, it will be on the next phase. So I know this is dragging, but I did never say when it'll be ready, because you can't with creative stuff. You know? When do you fuck off you? I can hear you laughing. When do you finish a novel? A novel finishes you, but I'm on it, Liz. It's certainly not on the back burner. It's the creative project I am the most proud of out of everything I've done. So it's just it's a challenge, you know. Anything else? Rob Ballman's been looking for adult work. Adult work is an English online prostitution site. Rob's been looking for adult work and he's feeling like dipping in his toe. Go for it, man. Why not? Why not? If that's what you want to do, do it.
All right, I actually have an answer real quick before I go check these numbers one more time for Pika.
Go for it.
The answer is Biedrich Smetna's Mavlast Moldu. That is by far. It's Smetna's Mavlast. It's my favorite classical piece. That's by far. I actually have an answer for a favorite there, which I rarely do. Okay,
no, that's cool. My one, oh no, it's only for you. Doesn't care about mine. Actually singled you out. Fuck you then.
I'm known for using classical music in my videos, so.
I think mine would probably be the Devil's Sonata.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I really like it.
Right, one sec, I gotta run numbers one more time.
No worries, you do that and I'll keep them going for the last minute. Right, we are coming to the end of this. It's been nearly an hour and a half. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming and listening. It does mean a lot to me. It's harder work sitting here talking in front of two people. Average Joe, no, I don't, man, because this bloke does it all. He does everything. Now, you're all right, Pika. I was only joking, but I already said it. It would probably be Thingy's Devil's Sonata. My accent's probably not helping there. The Devil's Sonata. Yeah. Lovely. Thank you, Alex. We'll just wait for Hagbard to get back and then he can say goodbye officially. Thanks for all the people who chucked some money at me. It means a lot. And thank you, Alex, for moderating. We're on Lucky 100 here. Are you back, sir? Oh, my gosh.
Return.
Thank you, Rob. Take care, man. Rob, you know my email. If you want to talk to me about that kind of thing, fine. Yes, Thomas. A pleasure to see you as always, my friend. Will I still get the girl at the end? I don't know what that means. Awesome show again. Been fun again. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for the dollars as well. Thanks, Lightning Bolts Glowing. You didn't, Alex, but I'll tell you what, if you don't have a moderator in there, they do surprisingly quickly start taking the piss. When is the Thai prostitution meet up? I don't think we can sort that out in Thailand.
If we're going to close out, I'm going to whore my own thing real quick, which is everyone in the chat, look there, and you're going to put together this link and come hang out if you want to watch videos with a bunch of other assholes.
Sorry, I missed all of that. There you go. Hagbard has put a link in the description to the chat.
You got to put that link together because no one can add links.
No, I can, but I don't know how to do it. Send it to me as a message on the Google Hangout, and I'll put it up there. Top left of the screen, you can make a message. And I can send that. I can put it in the chat. Listen, people, I'll put Hagbard's channel link in the description. I wouldn't have him on if I didn't rate his content.
And I'm going to host this on my channel after a couple days, and I'll put a link to your channel there.
There you go. Lovely. Okay, did you send me that thing, or do you not want to do that? Or is that what's just come up? Yeah, there you go. Hang on. What is it, Hagbard, anyway? What am I giving these people?
It's just a video and chat site. It's just a place to hang out and put videos that you want other people to see and watch videos. So I'm telling you.
I will put that link in the description as well. Thank you, everyone. Hagbard, if you could stay online a couple of minutes so we can have a little chat when we get offline.
Absolutely.
Thank you all. Please have a look at Hagbard's channel and subscribe to him. He makes fucking great content. I promise you. You know you can trust me. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Would you like to say goodbye, Hagbard?
Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Ta-da.